Brenda Peterson wrote a book of essays entitled Nature and Other Mothers. Her first entry is wonderfully named In Praise of Skin. In it, she tells how at one point in her life, she was afflicted by painful skin rashes. And like the woman in the gospel who was hemorrhaging for years, she tried every possible doctor but found no cures. Medication after medication, it proved ineffective, and eventually the doctors ran out of things to try. The rash always came back. One day, her grandmother assessed her situation and pronounced a more ancient and accurate diagnosis. She said to her granddaughter, "Skin needs to be touched, honey." Her grandmother then began to give her regular skin massages, and these did what more sophisticated medication couldn't do. They cured her. Peterson's grandmother is right. Skin needs to be touched, and no one knows this better than God. It's why Jesus gave us the Eucharist. In the Eucharist, skin gets touched. So the Eucharist isn't abstract, it's not a creed, even just an intimate word. It's a bodily embrace, a kiss, something shockingly physical. When you think about it, the Catholic Church is the most earthly of all religions. So it doesn't call you out of the physical, it doesn't call you out of the body or out of the world. Rather, Christ enters our world. Christ becomes physical. Christ becomes one with us. Christ blesses us. Christ redeems us. Christ tells us that there's no reason for us to escape from the world. In the Eucharist, our skin gets touched. And in all the other sacraments, we get touched. We touch Jesus in the Eucharist, who feeds us with food for the journey. Skin heals when touched. It's why Jesus gave us the Eucharist. And believe it or not, I think the same can be said for the Rosary. I mean, this small circlet of beads provides us with a spiritual assurance, reminding us that God is always with us. With each bead, I touch and speak to Mary, and Mary brings me to Jesus. Amazingly, as I walk this circular pathway with Mary, gradually and slowly my thoughts begin to untangle. My heart becomes tranquil, and Jesus breathes into me the healing grace I need. With the Rosary, our skin touches Mary's necklace, and we experience inner healing. I've never forgotten this actual story, true story. In 2008, Ingrid Betancourt and 7 other hostages were rescued from their captors after spending 6 years in the jungles of Colombia. Now, Ingrid Betancourt, a lapsed Catholic in captivity, the tool for her survival, believe it or not, was the Rosary. But it's how she found the Rosary again. She recalled one day her father saying the Rosary, but she couldn't remember exactly how it worked and how many times she was supposed to pray to the Virgin. So she thought, in case it's not 10 and could be 15, she began to finger the Rosary on the 15 buttons of the jacket the guerrillas had given her. She liked the idea that these buttons on this jacket, these practical, ordinary objects, were being used for something positive, something mysterious. And gradually, through her button rosary, she began to feel a special connection to her faith. Touching the jacket buttons, she said, was like the pressing the numbers of a cell phone. I thought that through the Rosary, I could plug into a stream of love through Mary. And I did. And through Mary, I reached out and touched God, and God touched me. The late novelist and essayist André Dubus once wrote, "Without touch, God is a monologue. God is an idea, a philosophy. He must touch and be touched. For the instant the touch is there, there is no place for thinking or for talking. The silent touch affirms all and goes deeper. It speaks the mystery of love. My brothers and sisters, people heal when touched. It's why Jesus gave us the Eucharist. It's why Mary has given us the Rosary.